Very suspicious. Very, very suspicious. I don't, I'm just asking questions. I'm not saying anything. I'm not
Yeah, yeah,
accusing anyone.
yeah. No, of course not.
We're just gonna see how the data plays out.
Welcome to Court Captains, a volleyball podcast.
Where we talk all things Pro Volleyball Federation. I'm Kelly.
I'm Nikki,
I'm Ian.
and today we're talking our 5 minutes of fame plus 5 more matches. Thanks for coming back with us this week. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Court Captains Pod. And Kelly caught a bug in Grand Rapids.
I sure did. I don't think I caught it in Grand Rapids. We don't need to slander
No.
Grand Rapids.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. That's on me.
Pristine reputation, but I am quite under the weather. So maybe
Yeah.
maybe this fancy microphone will make it sound okay.
Make it sound okay, or make it sound like she's coughing right there next to you.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Isn't that good?
Immersive.
Yeah.
Isn't that good?
Yeah. So just forgive the frog in my throat.
She's on the mend.
Yes, yes.
Okay, well, from the top, we have a couple of things. The first thing is that we had our trade deadline on Monday the 15th. So there were a few updates that happened since we last spoke to y'all. I think that first one, we did see, this is back on April 9th, a couple things on the Mojo. Grace Loberg, who's been kind of a backup outside, was moved to short-term injured reserve, which brought up rookie Carson Bacon out of University of Oregon to the active roster. I don't think we've seen her all that much in the week that followed, but I've seen the chat quite talking about her, wondering where she was throughout this season. I think because she's a rookie and because there are so many players in the league from Oregon, she was of interest to a lot of fans. So we'll see if she gets any time in the coming weeks. On the 11th, we had a bit of a shakeup where we, I think, anticipated or were waiting to see who would be pulled to the VNL. Asia O'Neal announced that she was going to train with the U.S. team in anticipation for the VNL. She's the first one. And, you know, the PVF...
The first domino
has fallen. And the PVF, you know, is phrasing that in their PR strategy is that she was called up.
They're supportive.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations on this honor, is what they say. So that's where we're at. She finishes out the rest of the season. She won't be present. So what Columbus did is they signed Kendall Kipp, a rookie out of Stanford, who just finished up abroad, I think in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
Her team either didn't make the playoffs or got kicked out of the playoffs, so she flew over. I actually remember one of the matches. They had her first match in. They had a little graphic that was like Kendall Kipp's most recent 9 days. On this day, she loses in Italy. On this day, she flies home to, I'm not sure where she's from. On this day, she flies to Columbus.
Oh my gosh.
On this day, she practices with the team one time, and now she's playing. So,
wow.
Love that graphic. Thanks, Kendall, for coming over. Those were the Fury updates. Then for Vegas Thrill, we saw Molly McCage go back on the short-term injury reserve.
Damn.
She's come on and off it a couple times. We did see her in Grand Rapids, and she was running warm-ups. So, like swinging at the defense to get people warmed up. So, what that injury is, we just don't know. She's not injured enough to do the worm on the sidelines sometimes. She's not injured enough to run warm-ups. But she is injured with something. Hopefully, she's good. As a result of that, McKenna Vicini is how I would pronounce it if I was Italian. I don't know. Out of Stanford, rookie, was moved up to active for Thrill. I haven't seen her. I don't know much about her.
Yeah, not this week, I don't think.
So we'll see. Keep an eye out. Then Grand Rapids had some moves. So they waived Sydney Bolding, who is a rookie out of Kansas State. I haven't seen her get moved to a practice squad. And they sort of separately, it seems like, they waived Nia Grant, who was out of Penn State 8 years ago, has been a part of the team this whole time. So that's a bit of a bummer. They grabbed Molly Lohman from abroad, also on an Italian team. So her season ended there. She came over on the 15th. That was trade deadline moves.
It makes me wonder if like all of these American players that were playing abroad have now seen the success of PVF and are like, okay, I'm going to finish this out. I'm going to let them know I'm interested because that sounds sweet to be home.
Yep. And some of these players are being signed like as they're finishing, and some of them signed like, so Molly Lohman signed an active roster, but actually I guess Kendall Kippett also says signed an active roster on the 11th. But I think that they, at least for Kendall Kipp, who was a rookie, Columbus took her in the draft. So they had the rights to her, and she was only ever going to be able to play for Columbus if and when she decided to come over.
Interesting.
Oh.
I think Molly Lohman is not the case because she's a 6-year pro.
Yeah.
That was more like I'm going to call up who I know, or I'm going to, like you said, Kelly, maybe like hit up the PVF and see who's got spots or who wants me to play. But there is that dynamic of like some of these players have been drafted already. So the team has the rights to that player for, I believe it's 2 years, unless they waive that. And then the only other thing, Nia Reed was moved to injury reserve for Omaha on the 14th. Didn't see anyone get pulled up as a result of that, but those are our updates from the transactions page.
Intriguing. Not a ton of trades at the deadline, though.
No, and I was kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, I guess if you have the option of so many of these other players coming free, like there isn't necessarily a need to go trade with a PVF team. You can just go sign players that's, who have finished their season, and then you don't have to give up the like the draft capital in the future, any of your players. So I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, totally. That makes a lot of sense. And again, calling to people who've already made their paychecks abroad and are like, would you like $2,500 per match?
Yeah, some more, just like make it a year-long job now.
Yeah.
You just got to string, it's like freelance volleyball player. You got to string like 4 jobs together.
Yep, totally. Okay, well, those are our transaction things. Final update, we do have stickers.
Stickers.
So we're sending those out in the mail to people who have already requested. And thank you to those of you who have found our merch highlight on Instagram and, given us some cash to the tip jar, but we will just send those to you regardless. DM us your address if you're interested.
Hell yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
Keep an eye out on on the floor for some PVF water bottles that might have some Core Captain stickers on them,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Some players, they may have had some access. They're out there.
I put one on my Kindle.
Nice.
Okay, actually,
Hell
multiple
yeah.
people that I know have put the stickers on their phone cases, and I'm like, that's like permanent.
Yeah, that's a big commitment.
I'm gonna do that.
Oh, heck yeah.
Match recaps.
All
Busy
right.
week. Should we get into it?
Let's do it.
First up, this week we had Mojo, Wednesday, April 10th. Atlanta at San Diego. This was their 4th meeting. 4th
Final
and
of the
final.
year?
They will not be seeing each other anymore. And Mojo is very grateful for that.
Yeah, I think most teams will be grateful for the end of that. Mojo, they have a different sort of week later in the week, but flying up the standings doesn't really matter when you come up against Atlanta. Atlanta flew over to San Diego, and they played like they had a doctor's appointment to get to, and they swept the Mojo. They won the first set 25-17. They won the second 25-19, and then they won the third 25-13.
Wow.
To finish the game off. Another one of the more dominant sets we've seen, another one of the more dominant games we've seen from Atlanta. It was pretty brutal.
And I think Atlanta did the thing, Kelly, that you were calling for.
Yeah.
They got people in the third.
They probably should have done it sooner, but that's fine.
Yeah, they put people in the mix. So we do love to see that. Yeah, Sienna Presley got some attempts. So did Grace Cleveland. I think Allie Linehan has been going in to serve sometimes.
Mhm.
Karis Watson had some swings, just a few at the end there, but it looked very good.
Yeah. I mean, they hit 390
Yeah.
to Mojo's 110.
Mhm.
Is this the
That's
location where so I saw that Magdalena someone made, I mean, there have been a couple memes, honestly, but Magdalena, the middle on vibe,
Yeah.
Yelahasheva is how you
Yeah.
say her last name.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was in San Diego, that the announcer, like when they announce all the players at the beginning of the match and number blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
all the starters, this person struggled so hard on the loud, on the mic, like in the
Uh-huh.
Yelahasha, Halashia.
mm.
Oh no.
And
As
she
someone
just
with a
steps out and
long,
she's like,
Oh my
yeah, it's
God.
me.
hi.
Hey.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, someone with a long Polish last name, I understand. But
Yeah.
yeah, you gotta like just give them a phonetic at all times.
And you
Usually
could
when
tell
people
that they
ask me, I
got
just say
it.
sound it out, just sound it out.
Good luck.
Yeah, just
There's consonants in there that you're not going to
Yeah.
know what to do with.
Yeah.
Just try your best. Yeah. So that was fun. And she hit 560.
amazing.
10 kills on 16 attempts. It's almost like she was fired up by that
Yeah.
mispronunciation.
Also, they came through. They had 9 blocks. It felt like they were everywhere around the net. I think they had almost 30 block touch pluses for the match in 3 sets. Pretty good.
Compared to Mojo's 4 block kills and 18 block touches. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, they passed. I think it's over 70% positive passing.
Yeah.
40% perfect passes. That's pretty good.
That's great. Leah Edmonds doing great in the back row. I felt like throughout this week, teams were trying to serve at Lek because Leah's been passing so well.
Mhm.
Lek is also passing quite well. Like,
Yeah.
so Leah had 82% positive, 50% perfect. Lekatar had 71% positive, 41% perfect. So slightly worse, but still pretty dang good.
Yeah.
hmm And that third set, you said they changed things up. They hit 480 in the third set. They got out
Amazing.
to a 9-1 lead to start it. And that pretty much ended it, I think.
Yeah, it looks like I'm trying to remember. Temmie got taken out though after the first set when she
Yeah.
was hitting negative, and I don't think she was injured. I think it just wasn't working,
Mm.
which is odd after the week she was coming off
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
beforehand. But yeah, then Morgan Lewis came in. August Rasky got some time in the third. I do think Hanif Park was just trying things at that point.
Yeah. I
But
wonder
it was messy.
why Lindsay wasn't in.
Yeah, she hasn't been playing as much because Kendra Dalkey has been on fire. And
Yeah.
even in this match, Kendra Dalkey hit 240.
Yeah. She was the
One of
best
their bright spots.
option. Yeah.
Morgan Lewis usually has some good blocking. She didn't in this game, but I feel like she is a pretty solid option.
Yeah.
When she's blocking outsides, if you put her on the right side. So I don't know. Valeria
One
Papa
weird
did
thing.
not hit great.
No.
Yeah. One weird thing too is I think Marley led Atlanta in block touches, which is nice. Yeah.
Whoa.
Get your 31 assists and 11 block touches and
Wow.
6
Okay.
kills.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a day.
Yeah.
6 kills on 9 attempts.
Yeah, hitting 670.
She's so offensive minded. We've talked about that before. It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Filling up the stat sheet.
Yeah.
Did you say 31 assists?
Yeah.
6 digs.
It's a good
Wow.
day.
All over the place.
Yeah. She was on it.
Just numbers wise, I guess if you're getting out hit by, 280, it makes sense that you're not reaching 20 points in a set in that one. So
Yeah. That was definitely a mojo.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's also it's sad to see that they had their like record breaking attendance and then this attendance was like an eighth of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did some things with kids and some giveaways at that
Yeah.
record-breaking one I read about later. But I don't know. You can't win them all.
No, not
Also, good.
every game can be
I'm
a
glad.
record-breaking attendance.
I'm glad that people didn't have to see that
I
in San
Yeah.
Diego.
Yeah.
I don't
mean,
know that they'd come back.
Yeah.
eventually Atlanta's going to get to the point where like even if your team's bad, you're just going to watch them, get the chance to see Atlanta live.
Right?
They're dominating.
Yeah, that's a 4-0 win on the series for Atlanta.
You got a couple of those this year, I think.
We've had Omaha 4-0 against Orlando, and now this is the second series of the season that's done.
It's swept.
It's a sweep. So next up, we had Thursday, April 11th, the Grand Rapids Rise at Orlando.
Yeah.
This was their third time seeing each other. Previously, Orlando had won both.
Wow.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
Rise went down to Orlando, and they did a little bit of Atlanta stuff. They swept the Valkyries, I'd say, much closer match than the last one we talked about, but the Rise won the first set 25-23, the second 25-21, and then finished it off 25-22. Yeah, sweeping Orlando, who they're in direct competition with for playoff spot, rising up the standings. You know.
Yes.
This was such a dang close match the entire time, and it really didn't feel like a sweep. Like there were
Close.
one team would go on a run, the other team would come back, keep it
Mhm.
really tight. To be honest, I think that Grand Rapids tended to get on the early runs, and then Orlando was playing catch up. It's just really hard to catch up for that long,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah,
when
that
you're down
first-
2-0.
That first set, I think the Rise went up 9-2, and Orlando got it all the way back to 22-21. But yeah, it's a lot of ground to make up at that point.
Yeah. Orlando was very messy early in this match. Like a lot of weird pokes on defense that didn't better the ball. So like sometimes when I say poke, I mean like on your attack, it's like a tip. But like sometimes you can do that on defense too, where it's like a weird ball off the block and you kind of just one arm it, or like
Mhm.
put your hand to like try to bring it back. And later in the week that it was working, like these like last minute saves on defense to try to bring it back. And this time it was like sort of lazy. It like didn't better the ball. And Georgia Murphy didn't have as good of a match. They were sending so many free balls over.
Oh,
It just started on a really messy foot, and then they had to like dig themselves out of that.
yeah.
Mhm.
So the last match that they played like literally just happened, and Rise lost in 5.
Mhm.
So they were out for blood.
I thought that this for Grand Rapids, this was a standard like the pins are working match for them.
Sure.
When the pins look good, when Rise looks good, that's what's happening. The pins
Yep.
are doing well. Like
Yep.
that's if
Yeah.
Rise is
Yeah.
going is really like firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
All that means is that their 3 pins are doing well.
Yeah.
Or
Because-
even maybe 2.
Because they never set their medals.
Right.
And when they
Do
do.
that.
And so the passes are a little better. We're pretty. I thought the passing looked good. I should probably look at the stats, but I thought the passes looked better this match than they've been the last couple weeks. And so then Ashley Evans, what we did see a couple days later when we were there, you know, when I'm watching a setter chuck the ball to a pin over and over again on TV, I don't get the same impression that I did in person with Ashley Evans, where they are tempo balls to the pin. They
Yeah.
are fast out of her hands. They're getting to the pin really quickly. And that is part of why it's working. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
on a perfect pass, the middle blocker thinks, oh, maybe they'll go to the middle. And then it's a very fast tempo ball to a pin. That's part of why those hitters can be so successful. And in this match, they were painting the end line and the sidelines. They had such great placement,
Mhm.
and they just didn't let up.
That second set we talked, I mean, same thing we talked about in the first one. Like it was close the whole way, but Orlando was always chasing. I think it was within 4, but they were just always the couple behind. And then, you know, one thing. Like I think the set ended on a service error. It just feels like, yeah, if you're four down and you're chasing the whole set, those late errors just, it's hard to make up for those.
During this match, when I was watching it back, I had this feeling that like Orlando is a team that just really loves each other.
Yeah.
And that got me thinking about like why or like what kinds of friends they are. And so I actually do have a little segment right now where I classified each of the teams and like what kinds of friendships they have based on sort of like high school, college cliques. So would you like me to share that with you?
Let's hear it. The friend index.
Okay, so what these teams are like when it comes to friendship. Grand Rapids, I feel, are friends, but only because they're in the same history class. So like this year, they're super tight, but then next year, if they're not in the same class, they're just gonna like wave to each other in the hallways.
Yeah, you won't get that magic back.
Right. It's proximity, it's time and place.
Yeah.
It's beautiful now. I don't feel like it's deep
Forever.
bonds, but I don't know. But that's okay. It's beautiful now. Orlando is a team, again, I was like, they just really love each other. And that's because they bond while they're thinking deep thoughts when they're like hotboxing in their mom's minivan. That's the friend group that Orlando has. They're just like,
are you gonna spur a random drug test on the PVF?
no,
right.
Please no.
They're
That's not what I mean.
beatboxing. They're beatboxing together in there.
Oh, right.
That's all.
That's not what I'm saying. Okay. I feel that Atlanta is the popular girls who are also smart and funny, and you really want to hate them. They get A's on everything, but they're like also so nice to you, so you can't.
Yeah.
They're just always having so much fun together, and laughing together, and extroverting together, but you just can't be mean because they're nice to you.
Yeah, you just have to talk about them behind their backs.
But if you're like
not to their faces.
Yeah, but if you're like Tori Stringer and you leave, then they're done. They're done with you.
Yeah.
And you're out forever. You transfer to another school.
We don't know you anymore.
Can't sit with us.
Okay, Columbus is a friend group who has taken in 4 new students, so we have no idea what they're like yet. They just new students keep coming to school, and they're like, you can be friends, but like we don't really know you yet. That's the vibe I get.
The
There's
lunch
a breakfast
table.
club,
Yeah.
reference in there somewhere.
Yeah. Misfits.
Omaha is the group of kids who have been in honors classes their whole lives, so they know each other well, and they've been through it together. It's like a very tight bond, but like they might not have chosen each other otherwise. Vegas is a driver's ed class. so you have like the really young 14-year-olds who are ready to get their permit the like moment they turn 15. And then you have the kids who are like, no, I don't want to drive. Why would I drive? And so now they're like 18 and they have to get their license.
Yeah.
Is there anyone that's like a 35-year-old person that got too many speeding tickets, so they're back at traffic school re-earning their license?
I don't want to assign someone to that, but maybe. And finally, San Diego is a friend group of freshmen in college in the same dorm. And they like cling to each other, and they're just like going along for the ride, and they dance a lot, and they go to the beach a lot.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh my gosh. Amazing.
That's just my point of view.
I think you nailed it. I think you nailed it.
God, if you listener have other characterizations of their friend groups, please let us know. Please comment on our Instagram. Let us know. Friday the 12th, San Diego Mojo at Columbus Fury. This was on the big screen.
Yeah.
And this was the second time that they've seen each other.
Second time they've seen each other. Second time the nation has seen the PVF national TV. Second national TV 5-setter. Intriguing. My conspiracy theory is
interesting.
It's still happening. I don't know.
You know what else is
I'm just asking questions.
You know what else is a 5-setter? The only match that we've gone to go see.
Yeah, it's very suspicious. Very, very suspicious. I don't know. I'm just asking questions. I'm not saying anything. I'm not accusing anyone.
Yeah, no, of course
We're just gonna see how the data plays out. But in this one, San Diego coming off getting swept at home, go on the road for a little bit of a road trip that they continued on later in this week. And they took it in 5. They lost the first set 21-25. They won the second very close 25-23. Then the third 25-19. Columbus came back, won the fourth 23-25, and then San Diego took the tiebreaker 15-10. Another big blocking game for the Mojo. I think they had 15 blocks. Got it done. Continued their climb up the standings.
I feel like Mojo is very different than a lot of the teams that we talk about, and the fact that like their middles drive them. Like it's usually like both middles and a pin, or maybe 2 pins and a middle, but a middle is always involved, whereas the other teams it's always 3 pins.
Yeah, I heard the coach for the Mojo talk a little bit about it's always Veronica Stone, who is very offensive here and there, and then she chooses Hannah Tapp or Allison Bastianelli, kind of based on Hannah leans a little more offensive, Allison lands a little more defensive with her blocking. So that's sort of how she's been choosing who does that second spot. And yeah, in terms of Mojo strong, it's like, or middle strong, it's like Mojo, Orlando, Vibe, sort of.
Yeah.
Those are the only 3 teams that I feel like we're frequently talking about middles.
Yeah, yeah.
This was not like a Vibe-esque hitting performance. We'll say that. Each team, I think, bordered on 20 hitting errors. Plus, for Columbus getting blocked 15 times, I think Mojo got blocked 9 times. It's a lot, it feels like. I mean, obviously it's a 5-set match, so
yeah, it
some
wasn't
of those
an
numbers are getting a
offensive
little bigger, but
it wasn't an offensive showing, I would say. Like this was a bit of a theme this week, I think. It was a like keep the rallies going.
Defense wins games.
Yeah. I sure think
True.
so. They both had a shit ton of digs. And what? Mojo hit 180, Columbus hit 110. We've seen games like that before where like you can eke out just a few more kills, and that's what the difference is in a close game like this.
Yeah, it was tough to come by kills, so which is fun, I think.
Both teams tried a lot with their rosters, with their lineups. So we did have Hannah Tapp start and Allison Bastianelli end. I think they switched in the third. For Mojo, we started with Kendra Dahlke, then DeMorgan Lewis. Kendra Dahlke did come back in the 5th. It looks like Valeria Papa started, then Lindsay Vanderweide came in. So there was a lot of switching around there.
It felt to me like some of that was, we played 2 days ago. We spent all day yesterday traveling, and we're going to travel again after this game. So I'm sure they came in feeling like, we're going to change some things around, but it worked. So
yeah. And then on the Columbus side, Raynell Jones started in the middle, switched for Jenna Rosenthal midway through. Tori Stringer had the first 2 sets. Rye came in the second half. I think she didn't look injured anymore. Wasn't it the end of last week that Rye Santos really looked like she was hobbling around? I feel like I thought that she was back on her feet, and not like late to balls in the same way. Samantha Drexel started in the first, hit negative. Kendall Kipp played the rest. Kendall Kipp had 63 attempts in 4 sets.
Wow.
Only hit 100.
She got blocked 7 times. That's a lot.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes I think I've seen highlights now from the Italian League quite a bit that has made its way into my algorithm. And it looks very fast and a little bit closer to men's in that the rallies, I don't see as many rallies. I see more like every 6'6" person you've ever seen. Like, when we play, Kelly, and we see like two really freaking tall people on that one team and 1 on that team. It's like if you took the absolute tallest
yeah,
and like most insane jumpers from every single team you've ever played, they're all there. So that means that they're reaching higher and they're swinging faster. Anyway, all that just to say, sometimes when players come from abroad on these teams, I'm like, aren't you supposed to crush here? And
Mm-hmm.
I know there's other components of it, like playing with the team and understanding what the dynamic is and where your part is. It makes me think that there's not as big of a difference as maybe I've perceived in highlights,
Mm-hmm.
where I'm watching highlights from that league and I'm hearing
Yeah.
people talk about
Yeah.
how it's such a better level of play.
Yeah.
And I bet it's probably closer, especially because I'm seeing so many points play out and I'm not seeing the highlights.
Yeah. I mean, there's a bias there, right? If you're only ever seeing the amazing plays.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense.
Reagan Cooper
Shout
hit
out Hannah Tapp.
unbelievably. 390 on 49 attempts. Hannah Tapp had a good average too.
Yeah.
Courtney Lush didn't hit great on paper either, which is
Yeah.
probably why Kendall got so many attempts.
Yeah. She can be up and down, I think, sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Reagan Cooper, I think we talked about it a little bit in the last episode. Like, she was in a little dip there. Came back 22 kills, 23 digs. That's pretty good.
Only
good
3
to see.
errors. It was awesome.
Yeah.
She's so reliable. I hope they resign the shit out of her.
Yeah. Yeah. They have
You
to.
gotta.
Yeah. I want to know what all the re-signings are.
I know. When will they tell us?
With this game, Columbus became the second ever PVF team to lose double-digit games in a season.
You love
After
to call
Vegas
out that.
last year.
Into the weekend matches, Saturday, April 13th, it was Vegas Throw at Grand Rapids Rise.
Lots to talk about here.
Yeah.
We know
this
it.
was
Their third
live
meeting.
match.
For us.
Third meeting, really.
Their third
Right.
meeting, and Vegas had won 2 times.
Yeah, Vegas, they've played a ton of games now, even though they've started late.
So many.
It's a lot. It's a lot of games. They made the trip to Grand Rapids, same as we did. Our trip was a little easier, I think. It was just a little drive. Their trip, coach flights, as we know.
We have it confirmed on good authority.
So, yeah, last time this match was played, it was the vaunted reverse sweep. We all know about it.
Yep.
This game looked like something similar might happen. Grand Rapids won the first 2 sets, the first 25-23, the second 25-21. Vegas came out of halftime fired up. They won 25-20 in the third set, 25-22 in the fourth set. Then Grand Rapids managed to take the fifth set 15-9 to avoid that reverse sweep this time. So good on them. It was Princess Night. So, you can't disappoint all the princesses that were in the stands.
And it was free trucker hat night.
Free trucker hat night also.
And it was $2 beer and hot dog night.
Yeah.
Newsflash, at the end of that $2 beer timeline, it turns into $12 Bud Lights. So didn't think that I could get gouged quite so hard at a Grand Rapids, Michigan sports game, but those are United Center prices.
It's pretty.
We got to make up for the $2 beer somehow.
They do. That much is clear.
Yeah. I will say it's very interesting to look at the stats as you're watching it after you've watched it live, because it's so electric when you're there and you're like, oh my gosh, Claire had such an amazing game. And then you look at the stats and she hit 120. And you're like, oh. But
but we saw 20 kills.
Right, but that's like what we're talking about when we say like, oh, a block just really turns around a game, because like even a big kill can just carry the energy of the stadium.
Well, that was like Vegas in those third and fourth sets. The thing that stood out the most, I think, for me watching it live, especially the third, was their blocking there.
Yeah. Yes.
Really great. I think they had 9 blocks in the third set. Pretty ridiculous coming out of halftime. 21 blocks on the day.
Yeah.
The Rise had 14 blocks as well. So,
yeah,
that's pretty good. No slouches.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Rise took this match, even though they hit 180 and Vegas hit 200. So,
yep.
That's where I feel like. So now it's interesting because just like you said, Kelly, I'm like, at the match, my impression was that Vegas passed like shit. And now I look at it, and my eyes say that shit is 39% positive and 21% perfect,
Yep.
which I don't know that I would have.
I mean, I think that's true. In my mind, I'm thinking you want at least 50% positive.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
that's kind of the assumption I've been working under.
Yeah. But it's just nice to like have them speak to each other, you know, like have the numbers speak to like what my impression was, because I thought Alicia Glass was running everywhere.
Yeah.
And then just trying to get one option. And that's not positive, right? Like that was like she was truly running 15 feet off of the net to try to get one high ball to a pin, which is a very different thing than when we were talking about Ashley Evans getting pins on that like shoot ball to the outside. It's just a really different, the other side has all the time in the world to read it, knows where you're going, set up the block and the defense around it. And she did her best.
Yeah. I will also point out that Rise had 20 more digs than Thrill did, which like if they're already passing bad, Thrill is, and Alicia's running everywhere, and then they also can't even get like a good dig.
And defense wins games.
And so that's on the same theme, not good passing. We also saw some more middle runs out of Rise where we're like, oh, wow, they listened to us. Probably not. I think they probably finally had time to practice.
That helps.
Yeah. But it was mostly Kayla Caffey, like, had some amazing, like, game-changing kills.
Yep, she hit 300. This is the match where I felt like I started to see the middle set more in transition than I had ever seen before.
That's like more what I'm talking about is the middle in transition, because that is the more difficult ball. And actually it's the one that it will get the middle's kills if you can execute on it, rather than the middle out of serve receive. You're not going to be as successful with that.
Yeah, because your serving team blockers are just waiting. They're just like ready to go.
Yeah.
Sure.
That works better actually if the pass is tight enough to the net, but not in the middle of right? Like if you've got a pass that is on the net, but forward or backwards, that's like when a middle could be successful.
Yeah.
Has a higher chance of it because they're not perfectly lined up with the middle on the other side.
Well, I mean, but the middle is following the setter, like where the ball is passed. So the middle should be right there.
But yeah, Kayla Caffey with 20 attempts, which is more than I think we've seen any middle really yet.
Yep. And we're not going to fact check that. So.
And we're just not going to tell you.
It's a vibes thing, you know?
Yeah.
On Grand Rapids specifically is what I meant.
Yeah.
This is a moment where we're seeing more Camila Gomez in libero.
Yes. I was quite excited to see Sarah Sponsel play in person. We did not get the chance. Not sure what's going on there. She was dressed.
Yeah, don't think she's injured. I think they're just trying to get Camila some time.
Yeah. I think that's true.
Kathy George in the interview after the match, which we were present at, said that she's really loving to see what she can do. So, I don't know. Maybe it's just a switch up.
Yeah.
Obviously, the two of you featured on the YouTube cast at the halftime.
It was very exciting. It was very fun.
I determined that I probably should look at the camera longer. That's what other people do when they're on television in a sports broadcast, but it felt so weird to me to not look at the person talking.
Have you watched it back?
No, I just got that feedback from people.
Oh, funny.
I can't watch myself.
I know. I have no desire to watch it back, although I'm sure we'll want to like actually post it. Yeah. No, I don't know. I'm sure you did great.
I think that like even from seeing the photos that people took of it, like me like turning my face to the side, I've never seen, especially in the NBA, the interviewer sometimes is behind the camera.
Yeah.
So like, and like NBA players just like look off into the distance somewhere behind the camera and answer the questions.
Yeah.
It's like, I
Well,
guess I should do that.
well, you never want to look directly at into the lens. That's like
Sure.
a no. But
Sure.
I don't know.
I got to work on that.
You
I'm
got
a
to work on
newbie.
that. If we're gonna be famous journalists, broadcasters, or whatever, God. So we
Women in
got
sports media.
so we got brought back to the like green room. I don't know, what do you call that? Like interview? I don't know. It's green
Oh,
room, honestly.
yeah.
After the game, to which we didn't really know that we could go back, and so I kind of wish we were there for all of it, but we really only were there to interview Kathy George, and we were the only ones there, along with our friend Aaron, who helped us get there. But I was expecting so many more people, and
Well, they were all at the Atlanta Omaha game, I
yeah,
think.
yeah,
I think people who were normally a part of the media for
yeah,
PVF, they were all in Atlanta, to be
yeah,
honest.
yeah. Which, yeah,
Photographers, like people who write about it, official PVF media people, I think they were all in Atlanta. So
yeah,
that's part of, I think, why that experience went that way. But
yeah. But anyway, and they're like, "Okay, do you guys have questions?" I was like, "Oh my God, no." But
we just wanted to
Nikki,
observe.
but Nikki had a question. It was a very good question. Do you remember what you asked?
Yeah, so Kathy George had been talking about different players and different players getting different looks, and we have noticed that L2 position, Claire Chaussee is the L1 for sure, but then that L2 position has been kind of up in the air. I feel like those players haven't really, like, no one's performed well super consistently. I didn't say all of that. I just said, you mentioned you've been playing some different people at L2. I named them. And I said, what do you like about each of them? And I hope that I gave her the chance then, because I could see on her face she was going to be like, oh God, you're going to tell me that they're playing bad or something.
Yeah.
And I just like pivot. And I wasn't planning to ask that question, but I anticipate she could be asked that. And I just wanted to be like, what are each of their strengths? Tell us nice things about them, because I don't know. We don't have to be that serious about it. Just say nice. They are all very different outsides, and I wanted to hear what she could perceive as their differences and strengths.
Yeah, it was a great question.
Thank you. I thought about it right before I said it, and my heart was pounding.
Yeah, no, well, we got like you said, a lot of trucker hats.
We gave out a
Hear a
lot of
lot of
stickers.
modern renditions of Disney songs over the loudspeakers.
Yeah, that was tough.
The Rise, they get a "Let's Go Rise" chant go. Just every point.
I
Which
really
is,
appreciated their
it's good environment.
announcer who would say, "Point Rise," and then point
Thrill.
thrill.
Point
Like, just-
thrill.
That's doing it right,
Yeah, no, it was it was loud in there.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun to see.
Really good.
Handed some stickers out down the row I was sitting in. They only made it like 3 people down. And then they were just pocketed.
Oh,
So that's probably, that's good.
well, I hope
That's
they
fine.
share
Someone's
them.
got a lot of stickers.
The match that happened at the same time on that Saturday was Omaha at Atlanta.
Hmm.
This
Playoff
was
preview.
the final time
I feel like they've played each other so many times.
Yeah.
they have. And like throughout this whole, from week 1 on, weren't they the opener?
Yep.
Mhm.
So yeah, this is their 4th and final time seeing each other. Second time at Atlanta.
Yeah, so this one, Atlanta, they did basically the same thing they did against the Mojo, except the second set, they had a blip. They had a blip there in the second set. They took this game in 4 in front of their home crowd. They won the first set 25-17. Then they got a little shook. They lost the second set 21-25, came back out of halftime, won it 25-16, finished it off 25-18. They hit 280 on the day, but in every set that they won, they hit 370. So if you take that second set out, they hit 370 on the day,
Yeah, wow.
which is pretty similar to their number in their sweep against the Mojo. So other than that set, they looked like themselves.
I mean, it's always rare to see an Anna Lazareva, like, she got blocked a lot. And whenever this happens, it's so clear to me that like obviously that's what the focus was, I think. Um, but the thing is with Atlanta, they have so many other players that they can go to.
Hmm.
And she still had 11 kills, but anyway, I don't know.
And
I
she
don't say.
started like obviously that might have been, she had 5 kills on 8 attempts in the first set, and then Omaha, especially in that second set, figured something out. We're playing her really tight. They were just didn't want that first set to happen again.
Yeah.
And it didn't, but it didn't
I
go
just
much better for them in other places.
Yeah, I just love vibes like spread across how many sets each of the players got. That
Hmm.
is amazing. We got, I'll just call it out. So Lekator got 32 attempts. Shelly Fanning in middle got 24 attempts. Anna Lazareva right
Yeah.
side got 30 attempts. Leah Edmond got 43 attempts. And then the other middle, Magdalena, got 17 attempts.
Hmm.
And all 5 of them had double-digit kills,
Yeah.
Yeah,
which is the key
amazing.
to my heart, as we
Yeah,
know on this
yeah.
podcast. Magdalena Yelahasheva hit 530.
Yeah. It's pretty nice.
And Leah Edmond, the queen, hit 370,
Yes.
which is great. We've talked about before how Atlanta doesn't even have to try. In this one,
Mhm.
I thought they were trying really hard. Like
Yeah.
they were. Like they sometimes it really looks so effortless, and in this one, they went up something like 9-2 in the first.
Hmm.
I think that sometimes they don't have to. It seems like they don't have to take it seriously, and they're just incredible. Not that they aren't serious players, but it felt like they came to the table with Omaha and were just like, okay, this is the number 2. Like, we don't want them to get any closer to us. Um, and the like pressure was always on Omaha. Again, a little bit of a blip in that second, but it felt like a different energy that Atlanta came to the table with on this
Mhm.
one.
Mhm.
It's also, I mean, the second set, right? They hit 110, I think. Um, they still only lost by 4. Like they were still in the set.
Yeah.
Um, which is pretty wild to me, I guess. Like we've seen, even the Supernovas, they hit better than that in most of the sets they lost in that game, but they didn't get to 20 in the sets that they lost.
Wow. I thought this while watching this game, where I think that something clicked for almost every team, where everyone really knows now like what their own teammates are working with.
Mm.
So how that has manifested for me is that this has led to crazy rallies and like the
Hmm.
scrappiest stuff that you've ever seen, because there's like a trust and a confidence
Yeah.
that I think has led to like not that moment of, oh shit, I thought maybe you would get it. Like
Yeah.
everyone just operates. And I saw so many matches this week where I felt like everyone was confident in each other. And so then we just saw so many like crazy saves that led to the point continuing,
Yeah. Yeah. They
which is
just,
cool.
yeah, they've collected enough data
On each other,
by
right?
right on each
Yeah.
other by playing this long together. Yep.
And you have to collect data on each other and then also on the team that you're playing against, and that takes a really long time. But yeah, it has been fun to see people like playing like teams in that like extra one more step way.
Mhm.
Yeah. This marked Atlanta's 6th win in a row. So,
Also, with this win, they have secured their spot for the top 4. Statistically, it is impossible for them to go below the top 4. So
They
they
clinched.
look
playoff spot clinched.
clinched.
And this was their second series that they've won. So Atlanta went 3-1 against Omaha. So that's the last time we're going to see these two teams play each other until and unless the playoffs.
The playoffs.
Sunday, the 14th, while we were driving home. So I had to watch this later. But San Diego Mojo at Orlando Valks. This was the second time that they've seen each other.
Mojo, mojo, mojo. So we
Mojo,
say it in a more positive
mojo.
tone.
Mm-hmm.
As we said, we started the week with Mojo getting swept They went to Columbus. They won in 5 sets. They travel now to Orlando. They do it again in a very tight game. They win in 5 sets. They win the first 25-23. They lose the second 21-25. Come out of halftime and win the third 25-19. They lost the fourth 21-25. And then they took the fifth set 18-16. Both teams had match points in that set. Took a little while, but San Diego managed to string 3 points together. Won it on a Temi kill, I believe. So
What a crazy, crazy match.
yeah. Same as in their last win, Mojo had 15 blocks. They had another 16 in this game. It's good.
Dang.
2 5-set wins on the road.
Yeah, and they pull up in the rankings.
Yeah.
Getting as high as they've ever been.
They're number 4 right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, only a half game behind the Rise.
Wow.
And with this loss,
Jill
Orlando
played.
became the third team in PVF history to lose double-digit games.
Orlando?
Yep.
Wow.
Oh, God.
I wouldn't have picked it.
No.
But
Well, and Orlando's played 17 matches.
Mm-hmm.
Mojo's
Same
only
as
played
Vegas.
15.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Mojo still have the fewest games played in the league.
Mojo and
busy.
Columbus are
They're gonna
both
have
at 15.
Yeah, they're gonna have a grueling back half of
Second half,
the
yeah.
league. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, especially when they hang out in Grand Rapids for a whole weekend and
Mhm.
play
Yeah.
them twice.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yikes. I have determined now what my least favorite matchup is,
Okay.
and it's Mojo and Valkyries, because despite trying to be relatively impartial, I just love these two teams. And so I don't want either of them to lose. They are my two hopes for a third and fourth finish in the standings. I'm just coming out and saying it so that I can just accept it and move on. But watching them like take each other so close, like I don't want anyone to lose. But someone has to, because it's sports.
I was excited to see Jill back in. I know she didn't have the best game, but
A lot of work though.
yeah.
58 attempts.
Whew.
Adora had another
yeah.
63 attempts.
My
Yeah.
gosh. I didn't feel like her defense was there. Her first touch was there.
Adora's?
Yeah. Am I wrong? Were the stats good?
I mean, she had a lot of digs. I don't know if it's like obviously it was a successful dig, so they were able to get a second touch on it, but I don't know what the conversion of those are, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And she didn't pass as well as she has before. 49% positive, 38% perfect.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just on the defensive ones. The reason I had that impression was because she was out of position. So it was kind of, she was giving up on it because she didn't read it right. And that looks different to me than reading it right and missing it.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
You start to be like, oh, that's lazy. She didn't go for it. But that's not even really true. She misread it and it's too fast to make a good move on it when it's already coming over there.
Yeah.
So that might have been, I'm being self-aware. And maybe that's why I perceived that.
TomCom had 29 digs.
My God.
So 49 assists, yeah.
Yeah.
This is where when the Orlando right sides hit that sharp cross,
Yeah.
TomCom says, mine, done. And other teams don't have that level of right side defense, I think.
Agreed. Absolutely.
MK White was back in for Orlando.
Yeah.
She played the whole game. She hit 210, had a lot of block touches, which we liked.
There were a ton of block touches in this game, it felt like, from both of them.
Yeah.
Well,
each of them had over 200 attempts on the day, so there was a lot going on.
God.
Yeah.
I mean, so much.
Nikki, what you were saying about Mojo puts in Allison versus Hannah in the middle. We see Allison was playing this match and she had 5 blocks and 8 block touches, which is great. And even, oh my gosh, TomCom had 10 block touches. Wow.
I know.
So
I was very surprised by that.
Yeah.
But she found a way.
Yeah.
She put on
Some form
her
of triple-double
shoes.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Digs, assists, and block touches.
Yeah.
There was a point toward the end of the match. So Kendra Dalkey's numbers, 23 kills, had 65 attempts, only hit 230. only, I say. That's good.
Yeah.
It
But
is good, yeah.
It's good.
but I felt like at the end, Orlando was like, please get her to the back row. Rotate her to the back row. I've
Yeah.
had enough. Like
Yeah.
every time she touched the ball at the like maybe the end of the fourth set, the end of the fifth,
Mm-hmm.
it was a kill every time. Like when she went back to serve, I felt like Orlando was like, okay,
Yeah.
great. Because she had it, you know?
Yeah.
Kaz Brown had a good game. We talked about her in the last Orlando game. She had a little bit of a tough one, but yeah, turned it around in this one.
Yep.
The efficiency, 440.
Yeah, 2 blocks,
Fif-
eight block touches,
15 kills.
15 kills.
That's
She
huge.
has to get some kind of like end of season award because she's been phenomenal super consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't really see them talking about hitting efficiency as much as like just sheer numbers.
Yeah.
That's pretty consistent, actually, I guess, across like NCAA as well. When they put out press releases, it's all about the numbers. I say that because I was all about the efficiency.
Yeah, of course.
That's all
It's math.
That's all I wanted.
Who cares what the absolute number is?
Yeah.
Sorry.
But also there is an interesting thing where it's like, okay, you can be efficient, but only get set 3 times.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and then you did everything that you could, and it's the setter's fault.
huh,
Why doesn't the setter know that you're very efficient? Why isn't the setter knowing that?
you're right.
That's how I feel about that.
Yeah.
The average is you can't argue with an average, man.
No.
That's how I feel.
Also, it's
Um,
just like we've talked about TomCom already, but like it seems nice to only, to have TomCom, you only have to have positive passing 33% of the time.
Yeah.
She can
I
still
didn't even
set it
notice
wherever.
that.
Yeah.
Like they passed bad, but yeah,
Terrible.
she can
Yeah.
plaster the cracks in that way
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
really get the
God.
ball wherever she wants anyways. So
Yeah.
Can you wait? Let's just 33% positive, 17% perfect, and she set her middles almost 40 times.
Amazing.
it's absurd. Yeah.
Crazy.
Does
That's
not happen.
unbelievable.
Yeah. I see a lot of similarities between Alicia Glass and TomCom.
Me too.
With their strategies and setting.
I wonder if that's like the time they came up in.
Yeah.
No,
I think these teams are peaking.
Ooh,
That's good.
you're saying you don't think they can sustain it?
No, I mean
The
like I think
playoffs?
this is some of the most competitive volleyball that I've seen both of these teams
They're
play
just
all
getting
year.
they're just getting better.
Individually for
Yeah.
themselves. I think that like I am seeing really like what appear to be effective like in huddle conversations between points. Like I think communication is just so annoyingly important in volleyball, like giving each other feedback on things because the coach isn't there. And it's a sport where people come to the middle and have time to talk. And it's only a few seconds in this
They
league,
took a
but
lot
like
on the floor though.
more than in so many other sports, there's all that opportunity to like knowledge share and be like, I'm seeing this, try this. And I don't know if we're just seeing more consistent camera work or if the conversations are like actually different, but it feels like they're strategizing and they're coming up with suggestions for one another on the fly. And it's just very fun
That was
for these two teams, especially who I think have been a little slower to get there. I've really loved to see that.
I mean, that was what was fun to see at the Rise game. You could see the teams like every once in a while when they would make a sub, they would go right to sit down and look at the iPad. And, coaches obviously had something they wanted to change. But right now it looks like, right now Orlando's on the outside looking in. One of those teams is going to be left out. We're getting towards like Orlando has what, seven games left? Got to go on a bit of a run here.
Mhm.
Yeah, they gotta do it. For week 13, we've got Grand Rapids at Atlanta on the 16th. That'll be their last time seeing each other. So we're starting to see a lot of these, this fourth and final, the series kind of closing. The 17th, it's Columbus at Vegas. Also the last time they'll see each other. 18th is Orlando at Grand Rapids, a very quick rematch.
Yeah.
Also the last time they'll see each other. On the 19th, Atlanta at Columbus. On the 20th, we have a doubleheader, San Diego at Omaha, and then Grand Rapids at Vegas. Another rematch, also their final time. And then on Sunday, we'll be on CBS Sports. Sorry, not we, the league. I do that a lot. Sorry. Atlanta at
We'll see if
Orlando.
it's a 5-setter.
Yeah.
I don't know. That'll be their final head-to-head in the series as well. So, quite a few matches for you this week 13.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we may have a little bit of a different format next week. Nikki's
Yeah.
going international scouting to Italy.
I fucking wish, honestly. It would be so fun.
That would be cool.
So yeah, it might be a little shorter one. I don't know. We'll have a game breakdown probably.
Yeah.
Some scores for you.
Yeah. Maybe
Some sweet content from Grand Rapids.
maybe my voice will be back to normal.
Yeah.
Thanks for holding it down, y'all. And thank you for listening to Court Captains, a volleyball podcast. Please give us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you like what you're hearing. Support small podcasts. If you don't like what you're hearing, then please just go ahead and mind your business. Follow us on Instagram at Court Captains Pod and email us your questions or comments at courtcaptainspod@gmail.com.
And don't forget to be the captain of your own court.
Mm.
Have a great week.
Have a good week.
Yeah, see ya.
Bye.